You're listening to the Agony Column News Report featuring interviews, phone interviews, reports from live book events and festivals, and conversations with readers. You can find additional news, interviews, book reviews, and more 5 days a week at the Agony Column website at trashotron.com/agony. I'm speaking with Claude Lalumiere. His newest book is The Door to Lost Pages. Thank you for joining me, Claude.
Thanks, Rick.
Claude, this is such an interesting book because you combine mythic and surreal, and I love that it's set in a bookstore.
Well, it's actually one of the first things that I started to write after I sold my own bookstore. So even though my bookstore was nothing like the bookstore in there, so yeah.
Well, I'd like you to just talk about the kind of mythic imagery you use, the gods and monsters. I mean, one of the things I thought about when I read this book is that it really it rings deep in our souls when we read this. It seems very primal, and it reminds me of the dreams I had when I was a kid.
Oh, well, thank you. What's the question exactly? I'm sorry.
Talk about just designing your kind of primal mythology.
Okay, well, actually, at the time that I wrote that book, I was keeping a sketchbook, and I was I'm no artist, but I was doodling just to help me get into kind of a creative space, and a lot of the mythology from that book comes from those doodles.
That's interesting. So you had a visual sense, and then you recreated that in text?
Yes, exactly.
Talk about creating the main character in this book, because she's so engaging, and she really helps get us into this world that's kind of like a shifting quilt of one reality to another.
Right. Well, when I wrote the first piece, which is Bestial Acts, which is actually my first published story, is chapter 1 of that book that came out in 2002, and at the time I didn't know that I was starting a sequence of stories that would become a book, and she was actually the second character who came to me. Like, the other character in that first story was the first character, and then I thought of her. And she, and the more that I was writing in that setting, the more she took over as the one who that I cared about most, that I wanted to know more about her. And I'm not quite sure where she came from, but I do think that she kind of fits. In hindsight, I realize she fits.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?